Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to super serve anybody who is single, 50 plus, and looking for a meaningful personal relationship. Now, we've talked with this wonderful woman before about your dreams. She's a dream builder's coach, but she's also a certified relationship coach. And if you're single and 50 plus, part of your dream could be finding that right person. Maybe you've been going through a bunch of dating apps. You've maybe gone on some dates, hasn't really panned out for you. Let's dig deeper into that. And she helps people with that all the time. Dreams in general, no matter what they are, but your dream relationship. And Kristina Smith is back with us to talk about that today. How you doing?
Steve, I'm doing great. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm happy to have learned recently that you are a relationship coach.
Yes.
I had no idea. You're amazing on the dream building side. But this all kind of like works together. You know, it is a dream. If you find yourself single and 50 plus, maybe you've been married before, things didn't work out, whatever it might be. Would you say for somebody in that age category and that situation, it's tougher now than ever to find a meaningful relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so important for people to really invest in their own development. What I mean by that is, it's just like, I like working out and I go to the gym periodically. And for the longest time, I was doing my exercises, but not really getting my results. So I finally said, let me hire a personal trainer. And my results skyrocketed because he was able to look at me and tell me what I'm doing right, what I need to adjust slightly, and what I radically need to do differently. So relationships are or can be somewhat complicated, but we can simplify it. There's so many things we can do to make it very simple and start to address some of the things that we're carrying around. You know, by the time we become an adult, we have a narrative in our own head about who we are. And let's say in a past relationship, things didn't go as planned. And sometimes people carry guilt and frustration, and they don't realize that guilt and frustration is now impinging on the potential for a productive, happy, fulfilling relationship. So that's, part of what I work on is how do we clear out that stuff so that you're not attracting the same kind of person that you had before.
Yeah. How many times have we all heard that or said it? If like a woman might say, I don't know what it is. Are there any nice guys left in this world?
Yes,
There are.
exactly.
Yes, there is right here. Because the same guys keep showing up, and I don't know what it is. I am, and maybe the next thing that person might say is, I don't know why I keep attracting them, but there's a reason.
Yes,
that she is.
Yes, and that's what we want to work on. What is it that I need to do? See, we're always looking for somebody else to change. It's always easier to just blame someone else for something that's not working right. But once we realize we can really leverage the power of our own brain. We can absolutely make in some cases, very minor adjustments and have radically different results.
Totally.
I want to share this with you, Steve. It's really interesting. Many years ago, I started reading books that were very impactful on the way I thought about myself as a human being. And I had a colleague who we were reading the same books at the same time, and she got it much faster than I did. And one of the things she would reflect back to me is how I talked. I would always talk about what I didn't want. And she would always interrupt me and say, you just told me what you don't want. What do you want? And I did not realize my brain was conditioned to focus on what I didn't want. And I didn't even hear it. So that's why working with someone else is very powerful because they can reflect back to you what you just said. And sometimes you don't even realize that came out of your mouth.
So is it true that if you continually talk about what you don't want, you can be or are telling your subconscious that, but it doesn't know the difference?
Exactly.
So it hears these words. Like, example, we'll go back to the woman can't find any nice guys out there. Listen, Kristina, I don't want a guy that doesn't have a job. I don't want the deadbeat. And they keep showing up. I don't want to have that again. Well, you're telling your subconscious those words, don't want. It doesn't hear don't want. It hears,
Right.
man, no job, has issues, et cetera, et cetera. So now it's wiring you to
Yes.
do whatever you can to attract that to you, because
Absolutely.
your subconscious is kind of dumb. It just wants
Yeah.
it's like a dog, like, okay, what can I do for you? It doesn't know
Right.
the good and the bad. Does that
Absolutely.
sound reasonable?
Yeah. That's absolutely, you're right on. You're spot on. You're spot on.
I've
so-
I've seen it
And
happen.
so, yeah, I see it happen all the time, and people are bewildered because they are so, intense about what they don't want. And so we shift that. We make that shift, because where our attention goes, that's where energy flows. That's where we create. We are creating that which shows up in our life.
Essentially
When I came to
manifesting.
that, when I came to that realization, and actually it's slightly different. We talked about that before, the word manifesting. It's slightly different. I've said this many times. Einstein said, everything is energy. And this is not philosophical. This is science. This is physics. Everything is vibrating. Even if we can't see it, a desk that I'm sitting at is vibrating. So in order to bring into our existence the person of our dreams, we have to vibrate at a different level. We have to get on the same vibrational level as what we want to attract.
Easier said than done. Part of that, I would assume, is doing the work on yourself, but changing your mindset. And I want to share this example because it came up this week, and it doesn't have anything to do with relationships, but it does have something to do with changing your mindset. So I've always been afraid of needles. Like I've had a blood test coming up, just a routine test. I changed the date. Let me go next week. And then I wait till next week comes along. It's like, change the date. And then when I had to go after a while of changing dates, I would just, be worried and everything. I changed my mindset to say, you're going to get information that's for you. You're doing something for you. It's a good thing. You might not get exactly what you wanted to hear, but now you can address it and all of that. Now, and I'm talking, this is in the last year.
Yeah. I believe you. I
Doesn't-
know people.
Doesn't bother me
to this
at
day.
all. In fact, I'm like, here you go. Here's my arm. Do whatever you got to do. Oh, you got to stick needles in me? No problem. Whatever. Doesn't even faze me anymore. And I even spoke with a doctor, and he goes, what happened? What'd you do? I'm like, mindset. I just changed the way I viewed it. And maybe that works for somebody else in terms of viewing what they're looking for in a partner, or how they approach the whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key is starting, having a macro dream, like a big dream. Have a big dream, but doing small steps, taking small steps, and then celebrating those small steps. Because what happens is this: gratitude. We talked about things vibrating. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies that you can emote. And when we do that, we actually bring into our existence more things to be grateful for. And so those things begin to add up, and they begin to, like, if we're at a low level vibrationally right now, but we want to get to this higher level. If we take small steps, just being grateful, Oprah and lots of other people have said every day they write down 3 things that they're grateful for. it is so powerful. It sounds like such a small, minute thing to do, but it's really powerful, and it increases your vibrational level. And it really does help you get to where you want to go quicker,
Yeah.
much quicker.
I keep a gratitude journal.
Yes.
Wrote 3 things down last night before I went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I might add that when you write them down, tell how they feel. Like we can all
Yes.
say, I'm grateful for this. And it's okay to write. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee. I have this coffee every day. It makes me feel good. It's my little treat. No caffeine in it. I don't need it to, start my day and get all jacked up. I just love it. So I've had a little cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a treat for myself. It makes me feel good. I enjoy it. I'm grateful to the people that grow it. I'm grateful to the barista, whatever it might be. But it's been said, I've heard the same thing you just said, that when you're grateful for things, the universe listens and wants to give you more things to be grateful for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a small thing, but it's huge. It's huge.
So we're talking about relationships, people who are looking for their partner. How do we apply that, the being grateful? How does that apply to finding that perfect person in your life?
I think, like, if I were sitting with a person who just asked that question and we wanted to do an exercise, I would have that person think about relationships from the past and something that they were grateful for. Even if the relationship didn't turn out what they wanted, what did you learn? Can you appreciate the fact that that person came into your life and you learned something? Maybe even I learned I don't want to be in another relationship like that. You can be grateful that you had that experience. So that you've now begun to become even clearer about what you want. So it's a really small thing again, but all of that is really important. Somebody compliments you. Sometimes people compliment me on my hair or my nails or whatever, and it's like, I'm really grateful. Sometimes men stop me in the store and said, you look really nice. Your hair looks nice. It's like, I'm grateful for that. I don't take it for granted. I don't care how many times that happens. I don't take it for granted. I feel sincerely appreciative. I feel humbled that someone noticed. And that makes your life expand a lot. It's incredible.
Isn't it sad in our society that we're afraid to even pay compliments? Like, even if you go back to the coffee thing, you're at a Starbucks and even just to say that you made this really good today. I don't know what you did, but it tastes great. Love your hair, like your hair fits your face, whatever it might be. We think it, but a lot of times we hit the pause button because, well, they're going to think I'm creepy and all of that. It's a shame.
Steve, I get it because you're right. It's odd the way some people are in the world today. However, that doesn't have anything to do with me. That's on them.
Agreed.
That's on them. I get up every morning, and as I'm being reflective about the day that I am going to create, part of my prayer is, I really want to be a better human being today than I was yesterday. That's one thing. The second thing I say is, who can I lift up today in some small way? I remember one time I was going to have an MRI. I had back surgery not that long ago, and I was going to go get this MRI. And the woman who was taking me back to get the MRI was in such a funky mood. And I thought, not on my watch. And so I looked at her and I said, oh my gosh, your nails look fabulous. Her face lit up. Like, you would have thought I just said you won $1 million. She just lit up. And so I said, did you do them yourself or did you? And I got it. And I meant it sincerely. I wasn't just, making this up. I really meant it. But it lifted her spirits up so much that when I got on the MRI bed, she said, would you like a warm blanket? And I said, that would be so lovely. Thank you. That's so kind of you. Yeah. By the time I left, she was floating on cloud 9. And I just thought, it didn't cost me a dime. It just was paying attention. We're so isolated, Steve, today. We're so isolated and everybody's got their own struggles. And lifting people up is just a very kind thing to do.
I 1,000,000,000% agree. And even to your point right there, I went for some ultrasound imaging yesterday. Just some stuff, nothing major. And they had to stick some needles in or whatever. And when it was all done, I shook the hand of the doctor and said, thank you very much. And that was it. And I held his hand a second longer. Like, like you pull your hand back. I held it. And I'm like, thank you for being gentle. And that was it. He was like, oh, you're welcome. Like, I'm sure people don't even say that to them.
Exactly.
I want to go back to single and looking for somebody. This would apply to anybody, but we are focusing on 50 plus today.
Sure.
Do you feel that you really should do some soul searching and look at your parents? Not even just their relationship, but also that can be impactful, but their personalities and how that governs the way you act and feel. I'm learning more and more in my journey. There's lots of answers right there.
Oh, Steve, let me tell you, when I was going through my training as a relationship coach, we had to do a lot of reading by a gentleman whose name is Gay Hendricks. And he and his wife have studied relationships over the last 50 years. And his teachings are amazing. And one of the things he said is exactly what you just said, which is oftentimes we attract subconsciously, purposefully, a person who we had the most conflict in our parental upbringing. So, or the parent that caused us the most drama. So let's say it's a daughter who had a lot of conflict with her father. Unconsciously, she's trying to attract someone that's like her father for the purpose of trying to remedy that which caused harm in their relationship.
You just gave up the secret sauce, in my opinion, in terms of, and I lived it and I see it, and I'm going to, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to give credence to what you just said. A relationship I was in many years ago. This is me. I'm chill. I'm just relaxed. People say you don't like confrontation. No, you work it out. You figure it out. It's all good. She always would try to push a button and engage to even into a fight in this relationship. And I was like, no, there's no reason for that. And then I did some thinking, and then it occurred to me that she had said that her father was abusive to not only her, but also her mother. And in my thinking, oh, okay, that's what she's comfortable with. She wants to go back to it and have just a confrontation over everything. And I really believe that's what it was. That was the reason for it.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. This, and even children who are abused, subconsciously, they believe that their parent loves them. And so this is all subconscious. This must be how I express love, is being in conflict, being abusive, because they've tied this to their parent and they believe their parent loves them. And so now this is how it shows up.
And they don't even know they're doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's coming from the subconscious. And even to your point, I know somebody, and I'll laser this down. Somebody got divorced, and I know the family, know the dynamics. Her father left abruptly out of nowhere when she was like 3 or 4. Fast forward to the last couple of years, she left the relationship. And I know the man well, and just out of nowhere, that's it. And he found out she was cheating, et cetera, along the way. Now, there was no apparent reason. I mean, everybody wanted to be like this couple. You'd look at them and things like, oh, Barbie and Ken, everything's great, fantastic.
Right.
Here's the ending of this story. she's with someone now, and he showed me pictures, and I know what her dad, he had since passed away, what he looked like. Met him. She's with a man now, looks just like him.
Mm-hmm.
She found dad again. She's with him.
Yep.
It's exactly what it is. And I don't want to say typical, textbook or whatever, but, and I'm not qualified for any of that, but I just look at what's going on there. It's like, oh, okay. She did what happened in her relationship there, what happened in her childhood, snapped, ended everything. And now she's with somebody. She found somebody that looks just like him, like uncanny difference. If you see the picture of this man and her father, it looks like, almost the same person.
Yeah. What I love about coaching is I'm not a therapist by training. What I love about coaching is we can use a lot of different resources, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And as you start to peel back the onion in a sense,
sure,
and you get to see this stuff. So like we both said, a lot of this stuff is unconscious. We're unconsciously creating these situations.
True.
I had a girlfriend whose father was an alcoholic. And when the mother married the gentleman, she knew that he was an alcoholic, but they were very young, in their early 20s. And of course, we all believe, oh, we can make this person change. Well, that didn't happen. And so they got a divorce. And then she married a man who was an alcoholic, but she didn't know he was an alcoholic. And then, of course, once they got together, this all started to come out. That relationship ended. Then she got into a relationship with a man who was not an alcoholic, but he became one after they got together. Come to find out that her grandfather was an alcoholic. So there was something in her that was calling forth this kind of dynamic. So it is interesting. It's interesting. And especially for people who are really challenged with finding a relationship, they need to go through some work to sort of make sure we don't fall into that same situation again. Because once you uncover it, it's profound. It's really profound. And it makes it so much easier to move into a relationship that you feel like, wow, this is great. I'm starting fresh. I feel like this is fresh.
Yeah.
This is the best experience I've ever had.
Spot on. and if I look back, I didn't realize that I could hire somebody like you to help uncover these things, because how did I figure this stuff out that we're talking about? Over time. Probably could have saved a lot of time if somebody like you said, hey, you know what? Tell me about your past relationships. Tell me about your family dynamics. Tell me that. And you probably would have put it together in probably one session right there and started the beginning of new. And to your point, I'm very transparent. I'm going to tell you, I went through a period of time meeting women that had anxiety, high levels of anxiety. Why are they showing up? I don't want to be the therapist. What's going on here? Right. And everybody's got anxiety. I get it. But this is definitely elevated and whatever. And then I thought about it. And then it clicked in my head. And I think this is the answer. My mom had anxiety. And I never really realized it. Great relationship. No issues whatsoever. It was just a part of life. She was very overprotective when I was younger. But after she passed, and then I saw, women with anxiety showing up, I'm like, what's going on? And I think it's because she had anxiety. How does that translate to me? Well, I guess maybe women would, pick up my vibration that, he can help me. He can nurture me. It's, it's a safe spot because he knows I'm not even aware that I'm sending out that signal.
Yeah, Mary Morrissey, the person who founded the Brave Thinking Institute, that's separate from the Coaching Relationship Institute, has this saying that I absolutely love. And the saying is, you cannot get to your dream. You have to come from your dream. And let me share really briefly how that worked. I had a friend who was in her 40s. This was many years ago. And I understood this concept. I don't know how I understood this, but I understood this even before I ran into the Brave Thinking Institute. And I wanted her to live into what would it look like, feel like to be in a relationship. And she kept saying, I have no idea. And I said, okay, let's make up a person that you're in love with. Let's give him a name. And she couldn't think of anything. So finally she said, how about if we call him Clyde? I said, okay, let's call him Clyde. So I would send her an email or a call and just leave a voicemail saying, how are things going with you and Clyde? Like this was all made up, right? Mm. And she would laugh and so on and so forth. So one Valentine's Day, I sent her flowers to her office from Clyde. And she called me and she said, I fell out laughing when I got the flowers from Clyde because I knew they were from you. And she said, because I just couldn't even imagine that that would happen. And I decided then I'm going to stop working with her, because if you can't imagine something, it's very hard to make it happen. And then fast forward after many, many, many years, she was with some friends and she was telling them about how she met this man in the park and they've connected and they're going out and this, that, and the other. And they were all like, oh my gosh, it's been 20 years. You haven't been in a relationship. And finally, after they end up telling this story, she said, that didn't really happen, but I'm envisioning it. I'm imagining it. And so they were like, well, that's kind of weird. But guess what? Steve, guess what? She's now in a relationship.
Wow.
She's now in a relationship.
So many different things we're talking about today, Kristina, from looking at traumas, manifesting. I can't believe we did it all in one podcast.
I know, it's amazing.
And to your point of the imagining, yeah, I've even had times where I've had a conversation in my car.
Yeah.
With no one.
Right.
Look at the passenger seat as if that person that you want to come into your life is there. And and you're having that conversation. What would that be like? Yeah, I had some time to kill, and I'm by myself. Like, yeah. And it's all about, like you said, the energy. How does that go? The energy goes, flows.
Energy goes where attention goes
where energy flows. Right. I have to tell you, Kristina, I knew you run deep in what you do. Didn't realize it today, and it's so wonderful. And also, I didn't realize until just a little while ago that you're also a certified relationship coach, all perfectly in line with a dream coach.
Correct.
They work hand in hand. How do we find you? How do we connect with you?
So I'm going to give you a couple of different ways. One is through my email. My email is createalifeyoulove13@gmail.com. Createalifeyoulove13, my lucky number, @gmail.com. And a phone number is 202-630-0382, 202-630-0382. And then I have a website also. It's called My Dreams Accomplished. That's with an ED at the end, mydreamsaccomplished.com. Yeah, I love it. I'm actually going to be launching, next time we talk, I'm going to tell you about a program that I'm actually launching for folks 50 and older who want to be in a relationship. I'm going to start doing some sessions, and I'm actually going to launch it on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, all right. Look at that.
Yeah, exciting.
Well,
yeah.
I have to ask this question. It's even unrelated to anything we're talking about here. In 10 seconds, tell me. In 13 seconds, tell me.
Okay.
Why is the number 13 lucky for you?
It's my birthday. And I was born on Friday the 13th, and it's been my good luck number ever since.
And thank you for that, because you see the positivity where the rest of us are looking at, 13. I don't know about that number. I stay away from it. And wow.
But you know what, Steve, what I love, I got to say this real quick. This is a total transformation for me. I always saw the glass half empty most of my life. until I started investing in myself and doing real work on myself. And now I can honestly say I'm happy and at ease at my age, 72. I don't have a problem telling my age. I'm 72. I'm in love again, and I'm really happy. And I want other people to be really happy. And so this is why I do what I do.
Love it. Love it. And would you say that once you figured all this stuff out that we're talking about, you feel like, and I don't want to use a cliche, but it's the best description, like a new person?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel filled with joy, and I want other people, and I don't want them to have to wait until they get in their 70s before they get this. So let's.
Oh, yeah. I said it before. I didn't know people like you exist. They did. Yeah. I would have saved a lot of time, but everything's a lesson. I learned a lot from you today, without a doubt. Thank you so much for being here. Looking forward next time we talk.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.